Probably they have plenty of problems they face, but the most important thing is that they don't have access to medical and educational services, which are not always provided in a free way to the poor people, I would say.
It's an absence of rights, it's an absence of certain basic key capacities to freedom. And when I say freedoms, it includes economic freedoms and also political freedoms, which is the foundation of all these problems.
The whole concept about change is related, just like Victoria was saying, is related to power. But from a Latin American perspective, I come from Colombia, the whole issue about change and power is related to land reform and land redistribution. So I think that a critical issue is to see how this change, this land redistribution, could be done in a pacific way. How citizen participation is going to translate into peaceful change and peaceful negotiation within a democratic setting.
Think about the whole idea of citizenship. Citizenship itself is a very political concept, which they share with other individuals, and then exploring their interests, rights. It can start with their day-to-day problems. It can be their basic needs. It can be their any problem they might be having with powerful people in their communities, or they're having any problems with the state. They can start having small interventions as groups.
In any society, if you don't have agents of change, you will never see any change. And if you look at certain poor countries, I don't know why, but there are certain countries that you see a lot of optimism, a lot of dynamics going on. People believe the change, and they do a lot of things to bring these changes. They are just part of the change. But then you look at certain countries, they are very pessimistic, they don't believe their future, they don't believe that they can change anything. And it really differs a lot how they can progress.
This is like a really big kind of challenge, no? Especially the idea of the welfare kind of state, this kind of collapsing and falling apart every single day, especially now with all this kind of credit crunch. The NGOs and the international kind of institutions will have to kind of think as well, help and kind of cooperate with the states.
I think the basic provision of services should be more common and widespread, like health services, educational services, some other training, basic training for job skill services. Those kind of things should be more widespread in all portions and all parts of the country. So maybe it may become more useful for the general population. That can be a way how the state can be more effective.
As long as you have more space for people to really make the changes in their own lives, more market economy, more interaction between agents, and more kind of integration to the global economy, there will be more opportunities for people to learn.
But I don't see how the first illiterate people can be part of the market economy.
Exactly, because
they are one step behind.
But the question is why they are illiterate. It's not because they chose to be illiterate, but they became dependent on the state. So the state will provide them education, free education, and they didn't get it. The governments failed to provide certain basic things while they promised that they would provide.
So we come to the same point.
So
actually.
what I'm telling is that governments promise to do certain things which they cannot deliver.
I think development is basically about action. The whole idea of people getting active, getting the problems into their hands, and trying to respond to that is itself very liberating. And I think it's going to impact on action in a big way. It's already doing it. And I think it's going to pull a lot of other people from other sectors into this. Like many people from academia, I believe in future are going to be more involved in development action than they are right now. And many citizens, who are not part of development action right now, are going to be involved, I think.
We don't decide who is poor and what you need. The people needs to be involved in this process. I mean, every population needs to see how they think themselves, how they define them, how they think is better. I mean, that they have a decision, like some kind of decision in the policies that actually gonna affect them.
Just by talking about how people need to define themselves, identify, and see the possibility of power within their own community, that simple idea is going to set off action. So, and by presenting successful models in other places, that will encourage people to participate. So by discussing these ideas, we're actually encouraging participation and action.